Gentlemen, you are live.
Hy's kat. Daar het nou my microfoon is aan, so dan kan alles hoor.
Alright, Zane, you on us?
Welcome everyone. We're going to start in a few minutes. So we'll start right on 7:30. So if you need anything, then go now and grab it. We'll look forward to getting into this kicking conversation this evening. It's going to be a good one, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Stop the cricket.
That's the ground.
No, cricket is still going. Or is it in
I must say that there's still a lot of noise on the background.
Yep,
there you go.
That's better.
What was that? Oh, it is vlogs, yeah.
It's called nature.
He got crickets in his house.
Yeah, it must be.
It can't be.
They're
You
back
turn
now.
the microphone off, it goes away.
Yeah, it's nature. Yeah. It's called nature.
Yeah.
All the way from Africa.
Yeah.
Hear a lion in a minute.
Sound effects and be an elephant go by in the back. Zane, your volume is down quite low in the top.
Oh, is it?
That's better. I think it's just the angle of your mic.
So we control the slides by ourselves.
No.
I'll control the slides.
Okay, brilliant.
We can control the videos if it's not playing yet. That awkward silence now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And go.
I mean, we can get going. I mean, it's
Yeah.
right. We're up now. It's 7:30. Yeah. We'll get going. Right. Welcome everyone. We're going to talk about kicking tonight. We've got some great coaches from different backgrounds, and I'll let them introduce themselves. So if we want to start with you, Vlog.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I'm currently the French national team kicking coach, and previously I was for 10 years the Bulls kicking coach, and winning 3 Super Rugby titles in the golden era of the Bulls rugby in 2007, 9, 10. And then the last 3-4 years I was with the Stormers, and then I decided to go on my own and explore a bit and work with different coaches, and traveling to Japan and France and also been in the Netherlands. So just working with different coaches, different systems, and then I ending up at France with the national team. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting some insights on the French for sure. We've got a few French fans, and I've got a good friend who's French, and we won't say his name, but yeah, we'll be interested to sort of get some French insights. Cripsy?
Yeah. Yeah. Matthew Cripps, the defense coach, kicking coach for the men's 15s, and for Rugby Academy Host and Rugby Club England.
He's a bit of a veteran, old Cripsy. This is his third one, so we'll move on to Glenn.
Yeah. Glenn Vertongen. This season I will be the head coach of the Hoek. I come over from Diehoek, and I moved 2 years ago from Belgium to the Netherlands, where I played my rugby for Dendermonde Rugby Club. I was able there as a player to win the championship a couple of times, play the European Challenge Cup, then the Trophy Cup. That was against the winner from Portugal, Spain, Germany, and that time Russia as well. So that was an amazing experience. And I'm looking this web center tonight as a non-professional player, what my experience were, and as a non-professional coach with a short amount of time for kicking.
Cool. Let's get into it.
You're not the only one there.
We start with the French.
Yeah, we're starting with why kicking. Do you want to run through it while the video goes?
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah. So for me, why kicking? First of all, I think as a non-professional coach, and I think we don't spend a lot of time on kicking and kicking strategy. And I think it's a big and important weapon, especially now when the defense is better organized with good defense structures. A kicking game can help you to reorganize the defense. And it also it can help you to get the pressure away from the team, and also to make sure your team is not losing a lot of energy, because you can, as an attacking team, you can still try to reorganize the defense line, so to put a lot of pressure on them, but then you will lose a lot of energy. So with a good kicking strategy, you can easily win a lot of or gain a lot of meters from your own 22 till the half of your opposition. And this kicking strategy is a combination of turnover with kicking, and I think the slide before.
Oh, you want to look at the turnover one?
Yeah, please. So this is my first clip why I think a kicking strategy is very important.
Hi, and if you just want to play that one again.
Is it working?
No, not.
Oh, he's played the other one. Sorry.
Guys, if you wanna play it on your laptop, you gotta press play yourself. I play them here as soon as Zane switches them, and there's a 10.
He just wanted to go back. Yeah, it's on now, boys. It's all good. It's the counter attack one.
Yeah, just let me know when it's finished. So this one is, for me, is a good example of a combination of kicking strategy with a turnover. Like you can see, France is losing the ball and they're in a deep positioning for attacking. So they need to get up quickly in defense. So that means that they're quite reorganized. And England have seen that well, and they're passing the ball quickly to the outside. And they've got Johnny May, who is very fast. And there was no one in the backyard. So with a little kick through, was it a race for him? And I think it's a very good combination of a kicking strategy with turnover. And that's something what I think they really work on as well. It's not just something that happened. It's something what they really train on in their training sessions.
And then the next one's a box kick, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, for this one as well, I think here France, it was difficult for them to beat the defense structure of England. They were well organized, so they were trying, I guess, to create something, and they worked here with a box kick, and with a box kick with a lot of pressure on it, so they could contest it in the air. So that means that England needed to run back. So their defense line was deorganized. France was able to regain the ball, and they played it very quickly to the outside, and they were still able to score and to get back into the game. So yeah, this is also for me a good kicking strategy, what worked out well for them.
Yeah, I think for me, if you look at the distance and the hang time here is perfect. And he puts it right where as Zane would say, the fatties are coming backwards, and the wing doesn't read it and come in to try and take it. But also, if you look at the French from the ruck at the beginning of the shot, I think they've got 5 or 6 guys in that breakdown. So that's come from pressure from the England boys pressuring their exit in the first place. But what they do amazingly well is, they pressure the catch, kicks it into almost no man's land in front of the guys in the backfield. And just behind the guys coming back, like you said. And they would have been in a lot of trouble if this wing, I think it was Ashton, had actually come for it when he was supposed to, because there's a big space in between where the referee is and the chasing pack, because there was a lot of French guys not in that chase. I think it's a good way to show that your kicking strategy and your defense strategy and your attack, it all goes hand in hand. It's not just one thing, another thing, another thing. There's really interesting stuff.
And then the next one, Glenn's like a club game.
Yeah, this is my club, the Hook. That was 2 years ago, and we played against a fly-off. I forgot the name of the opposition, but he was very good in kicking the ball into the corners. So our strategy was working a lot on counter-attack and to kick the ball back into the space to punish them when he made a bad kick. And in that week, we worked a lot on small games with kicking, little kicks, rubber kicks, different positioning of players. So I mean forwards and backs to each other. And in this clip, you can see, for me, that's a good one because you can see that a prop who is on the outside, he made a perfect kick and perfect execution, and he just put away the pressure for us, and we gained 40 meters. So
tactically, Glenn, did you have that big prop in the backfield to cover those kicks, or was he just happy?
I don't know why he was there. Maybe he was lazy, but it was
a good kick.
It was just a good kick. He put us away with a lot of
Because you knew.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's the lad who also plays 10 from time to time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He's got a kicking background.
Kicked the ball very well, actually. Yeah.
But were you playing with players back because that team in particular kicks?
What do you mean?
Did you have like 3 players at the back all the time because you knew they were going to kick from certain places?
Yeah, in that period, that's 2 years ago, we were still playing with 3 players behind, and that was not the fly-off. So we still were playing with the classic fullback and the 2 wingers.
Pendulum,
yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier about the relieving pressure. Keeping the ball in front of your forwards is a big aspect of the game as well. And if they continually, every time they get into your half, you manage to turn them over and send them back down into their own half, it's a completely different picture, and it's so difficult for teams to score from 50. I think we call it from a national team of controlling the halfway. And if they can come from over halfway and score tries against us, then they're pretty bloody good. It's a different defensive picture altogether.
If I can just pop in here, I agree what you all say. I just want to add on what you were saying, and I think it is massive important that there must be a clarity on certain areas of the field, what type of kicks you want to do, that you don't get into a game and then you get a surprise kick. It's actually a stupid idea, but let's say, for example, between your own 10 meters and your own 22, that you do like a chip or grubber in the middle of the field, and that put the defense under massive pressure. So for me, it's all about clarity. With that kick in this club game, is a brilliant kick, and you can see that the players is on the same level. They understand the game. They see the same pictures as the coaches are seeing. And they know what the outcome will always be. I went out with the French players now. I challenge them to when they're in certain areas of the field to know where the outcome is. And it's either with a hang ball up in the air from a 9 or a 10, or an open kick to the winger, or box kick. But they must know what the outcome of this kick must be, and what is the whole aim behind that kick. So when you get to clarity, just make the defense better, make your chasing lines better, and just make the kick as well just a bit better as well.
Yeah, just makes everybody's life easier. You spend a lot of time with Sean Edwards talking about what's going to happen through that process.
Yes, I agree. I must say I learn a lot from Sean Edwards this 2.5 months with the French team, and he's because obviously I was a bit old school in a way of rather kick it out and defend from a defend from a set piece, defend from a line out, and from there the defense structure get in place and you defend. But I know with Sean and Wells over the years is rather prefer not to kick out. So when we present to France that this is the way we're going to go in not kicking out and rather defend from them running back and work on a turnover or two, which at the moment is working very well for us in the Six Nations this year. But I must say I learned a lot from Sean and his way of looking at the defense and complement the defense and the kicking game with each other to see where we can get the best outcome.
Yeah.
So we've got a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
Okay.
This video made a lot of impact for me as a player. I was there. I watched that game in the stadium. I think I was 18 years old, and it was just amazing to see that at the end of the game, and it was still a draw. It all started with backs kicking, and it went up to forwards kicking to the post. It was just amazing, and I think if you're not working a lot on kicking skills, and for all your players, then the outcome of this final could be totally different. If you worked a bit on kicking skills and you practice it, then maybe you were in the final. So it was for me an eye opener that kicking is very important for all your players. You don't need to work specific on goal kick, but the general all kind of types of kicking is very important.
Yeah, I agree. Glenn. I must say there's one thing that I understand a long time ago, but especially moving forward now, and especially with defense these days are so well organized, and the players are strong enough, and they have stopping power, and you don't the days of just take a ball through phases and you think you're going to score after 4 or 5 phases. That days are long gone and over. So you need to find other ways to get in behind the defense.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned now, I just think it's brilliant that all the backs must kick. Previously, just a 9, 10 and a 5, 15 must kick. Yeah. But now your wingers must be able to kick left and right foot. Your wingers and your centers must be able to do distance kicks, clearance kicks. They also do the attacking kick. So your whole back line need to have the skill to do all type of kicks, and they just take your team to another level and just help you when you need to relieve pressure as well.
Yeah.
This actually happened to the Netherlands in the European Championship.
Yeah.
We lost to Germany on a kickoff. It's still raw, Glenn. Glad you put that.
It's against Belgium.
Belgium, wasn't it?
Was it Belgium?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm surprised we don't see that video.
No. I was still thinking about it, but
were you in that game?
No. I think it was 3-4 years ago.
Still raw.
Yeah.
Right, who wants to lead this
Go to the next slide,
section?
Yeah, I've lost a little bit of track on which number we're on, so
how a training week looks like.
Yeah.
So finding a balance.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I will come in here, guys. I think I put this down. Our training week like that, and again, this is my personal opinion, and I think there's no right and wrong in it. It all differ from club level to schoolboy level to international teams in certain or tier 1 and tier 2 countries, and they have different preparations. But I just think when you get to a game and you play on a Saturday, and when you get onto the pitch, you must have the satisfaction, and you must have the belief, and you must know that you cover all the aspects, that you cover all the stuff, the key elements that you're gonna need in the game. And that's why I said it must be a balance of a 60-40 or 70-30, all depending on the type of quality team that you play against. and then you must also write down and sit and make sure what is your focus points, what type of kicks you want to focus on, what's the stuff that you want to focus on that you want to have a big improvement in the upcoming test or game, what's the stuff that you want to see a big improvement. And so you need to sit down and plan your week smart to be able to, when you get to a game, that you know that you have the satisfaction that you cover all the basics and you cover all the stuff, and that you have that quiet confidence that that your team will be able to execute because you train it on the pitch the whole week.
You guys agree, Glenn, Cripsy?
Yeah. Well, how much time do you spend on it in a week?
Yeah, well, let's rewind it back. So let's say your game is on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So normally the Sunday, this will be my recovery day. This is the day that you actually work on your own. You go through a lot of stuff, and you give the players space. When you get to a Monday will be my big day, and I call it the why day, because I will ask the questions why. Why did you kick that kick there? Why did you go for a distance kick? Why do you do a grubber there, or why do you chip? Because I want him to give me the feedback, because I already know the answer, and but I want him to also see the picture. So that's why I ask him. I call it the why questions. Yeah. And so on Monday it'll be like a review. Went through his game, ask him the questions. How did he feel? What did he see there? Why did he pick up? Did he pick up the space there? Why didn't he see that the winger was hanging all the time, or whatever? Because then I want to get into his brain. I want to get into his mind. I want to make sure that that's what I will see as a coach. I want to make sure that he also see the same picture, and that is where growth and develop is coming in. So my Monday morning will be like that. Went through his game, everything, and then the Monday afternoon, because it's just a day and a half, 2 days after the game. Normally on a Monday afternoon, I call it a fun and games day. Then I will make sure that my Monday afternoon I will play a bit of games, maybe a golf game, maybe a tennis game, maybe whatever game is playing. Make sure that you create a bit of a competition between the kickers, but also there must be a positive outcome through that. Where you work on a technique, but also the fun element of them having a bit of fun, playing around, and just get into the week. So that will be my Monday.
Yeah. Have you had any interesting answers to that why question?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was. Yes, no, definitely. There was a lot of games, especially I think against England. Our first game, we just started the second half. So in the change room, we said, listen, we're still going to go distance against them, but we want to go more in the middle, and not anymore more to the touchline, not more in the middle. We want to go stay close to the touchline as far as we can, and keep them to one side of the field. In the second half start, then suddenly we just started to do these funny chips, and we kick ball down in the middle, and we do contestable, and then for 10-15 minutes we were just defending an own half. We couldn't come out our own half, and we were frustrated. So that was one why question, and the why was, but why make that decision on the field after we 2 minutes in the change room? We said, this is the plan, keep to this plan, stick to this plan. So why did you do that? So why did you decide to went from the coach's plan or the plan that we set of you? And then you get interesting questions like, now, the one question, and I know that is a lot of the French guys, they get quickly boring. I think a lot of players get quickly boring because it's working. Now let's try something else. So that's a one why that's coming out. The plan was good, but we want to try something different. Okay, that's not good. And the other whys that come out is No. We thought there was space there. No, we thought that if we just do a contestable, maybe we can win that ball back in the air. So then you play against a Johnny May guys and that. So that's a wide questions that you come up, that come out of that, Zain. So that is actually good because then so that's also a learning school for the player, for the kickers, so that they can see, listen, stick to the plan that's working. And so that's what I learned. If you ask them why, then you will get into their brain, their way of thinking.
And good answer.
Yeah, and do you give an answer on that as well after they give you the why? Do you give your feedback or? Yeah,
normally what they will do is I will ask the questions and they will give me the answers and the whys, and even I will pin it down. But then I will say, listen, okay, so that was the plan in a week. This is what we've been training. Okay, and then they say yes. Okay, so look at the first half. Look at our percentage execution. So maybe our execution rate, the first half was like 75, 78, close to 80% execution rate. So I said, this is the reason why they didn't come out of the half. That's why we play in the front foot. That's why we were in control of the game. So that's the reasons. So now look at the second half now. See, we slipped down to a 55 or 60% execution rate. Now look now suddenly what happened in the second half. We're starting to do more pressure kicks. We need to relieve the ball. We have to go distance just to try to get out of half. So you see now the reasons why this plan was working and this plan that you going out in the second half was not working. And then they will see that once you show them the stats, and they will see the difference then. So that is some honest feedback that I think you need to give to the players, and I appreciate that, and then they also understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's going through your mind when a player says that you found it boring because it was working?
That's one thing that when I just arrived in France, they said, listen, the one challenge that you're going to have with the French team is because they're so talented players and skillful players. So once they will do something and it's working, they will always try something else, and they get quickly bored because that's the French mentality. So that was really a big focus point for us. That first 2 weeks, we have the training camp before the England test, where we put so much pressure and emphasis and a lot of effort and time in weekly meetings, team meetings, meeting with the group leaders to make sure that they must be in the same page, that they have to be in the same mindset that the coaches are, and that they also buy into the plan that we have. And I think players can only buy into the plan if they see a plan is working and they go on the field and it's working. And luckily for us, we have a good start so the players can see, okay, that's working. So we just, even in training, we were really hard on the players in training to execute the plan, to stick to the plan. And one thing that we do in training was that we measure our execution from the kicking as well. So we make sure that we play a lot of kicking games, turnover games, a lot of tennis games between the two teams, luckily because we have a full squad. So we make sure we play a lot of kicking games and let them make decisions under pressure, throw the ball in behind them, let one team try and get out of their half, and really let the two teams put pressure on each other. So then we give immediately, once they get back to the hotel, within 20 minutes, when they get back to the hotel, we immediately give them feedback of the training, the execution rate, out of hand, everything. And it was my job to make sure that you come by a Friday or Friday morning, that you give them feedback from Monday to Friday. You show them the stats. You say, listen, this was good. You show them the red arrows. You show them the green arrows, the good kicking. You show them the where it was good decisions. You show them where they make bad decisions. And you just try and change their mind, their mindset, and just try and get them to a level that they really can understand and see the picture and why we are putting so much emphasis and focus on this, because it's a massive part. And that's one of the things that we said we need to change in a French team going forward. So we just put a lot of time in team meetings. We put a lot of time in on the field, but also very important, we give a lot of honest feedback to them, to the team, and to the group leaders and to the kickers about the success of every training.
Okay.
That's awesome. How many analysts do you have?
Yeah, see that thing.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, you see now that make it easy. We have 4 analysts.
Yeah.
So I, for example, Sean will have one with him just working on defense and all his stuff. Then I will have one with me, just do my coding and kicking and so whatever. So that's why while we train and we have the guys next to the field with the computers and stuff with a big screen, so we can either stop training and immediately come to the TV, to the blackboard and show them stuff. But I realize I don't want to break their rhythm and stuff for training, so I rather give them feedback within 20 minutes, half an hour. Once I get back to the hotel, I give them immediate feedback because it's still in their mind. They still think about the game. And I also challenge them, Zayn, I also challenge them for them to every day, to give me feedback every day. Just give me a point out of 10. And I just said, just give me a point out of 10. How do you see the kicking game yesterday? What was your feeling? What was working for you? What didn't work? What do you struggle with? Because then you also pick up a lot of stuff. They say, listen, I was struggling with the third pot. The ball was a bit slow to me. Then you realize, okay, maybe that first 2 pots or the first 2 ball carriers didn't do their job well to create maybe a quicker ball for us, or the blockers was late to be in place to protect our kicker or whatever. So then you also get that feedback from them. So I would say, listen, give me a rating out of 10 and give me the reasons. Give me three key points or 2 key points. What you see or how do you feel about the kicking yesterday? And that's some good feedback.
Yeah, I think that's great. Especially getting the feedback from your players as well as you're giving them feedback. So it's going both ways.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, that's why I am. But I also realize, guys, that it's also that thing that we all know as coaches, that too many voices. That's also a thin line to not get too many voices. So that's why when I have a plan, said, listen, maybe our plan against England is, for example, we're not going to kick out. We're going to stay away from their powerful ball. We're not going to kick out. We think it's actually a stupid idea, but just to give you an example, we're not going to kick back. We're not going to kick out. Maybe because they have a strong maul. And second point is we're going to go distance because they just run the ball back. So we're going to get offline, work on turnovers, for example. Mm-hmm. So I will plan like that. I will first sit with the 9, 10s, and 15s, because I think that's the three positions that need to make the most pressure of the most decisions in a game. Your 9, 10, and 15, the 3 guys. So then I will explain to him this is my plan for the England game, and then I will also give them the reasons why I decide that. And then after that, I will show them clips. And then I said, listen, I want your feedback. Do you see the same or whatever? So once I have their buy-in, and 9 out of 10, they said, yeah, they see the same. Then you go to the group leaders, to our group leaders, our 7, that spine guy, the spine meeting on. And then you have the meeting with them, and they also, and then I go, and then my third meeting will be, then I will present to the team. And then when I present to the team, it's like a 50-50 for me. Then when I present to the team, I normally ask my 10 or 9 or 15 also to take part in that team meeting for me. And I will tell the reason why, because at the end, they will be the guys on the field that must make the decisions. And they're the guys that will translate the communication through the team, the 3 guys who mainly decide in the kicking. So I will explain to them the reasons, but I want my 9, 10, and 15 really verbal in that team meeting about the plan, that they can also talk back and give feedback to the players and said, listen, the reason why we do A, B, and C is because of that. So, and that is working at the moment.
So it's a lot of meetings, because you're you'd have to also meet with the attack coach, defense coach, head coach, right? Because I mean,
Yes.
it's their plan, and you've got to fit your strategies into their plan. So you've got to
Yes.
be. It has to be clear from a coaching point of view from them, and then you've got to make it clear to different sets of players so that they can communicate it and execute. So it's a lot of meetings.
I agree. It actually sounds like a lot of meetings, but it's not really. But the one thing, maybe. The one thing I think that actually I have to correct myself here. The one reason that we really have a lot of meetings, because we have a young French team. We have a team that's average age at the moment is 22, 23. We have our 2 9s are 22, 23. We have a flyer of Jalabert is 19 years old. We have Ntamak that is 21. We have a fullback that is 22 years old. So we really have a young team, and the guys play tests like 2 tests here. Boutier, the fullback, plays first test against England, and you have a guy that's not been experienced 25, 30 tests. So that's what Fabian said. Let's put a lot of meetings in. Let's put a lot of clarity in, so they can just understand and see. So that's why we have that lot of meetings in the beginning, and especially I think in the Six Nations now is because of that. We're working with an inexperienced team. So just for example, when we play England, they have 921 tests, and we as a French team combined have 212 tests. So that's why Fabian said, listen, we need to have a lot of meetings, but we need to keep the meeting short. We need to keep the slides to a minimum, but it's important that we get this group on the same page with the coaches and everything. But just to answer your other question, yes. So we as coaches will have that Sunday. We will have our sit down, and we have our meeting, and we will give feedback to each other about the game that we played a Saturday, and we will talk about the game, and we'll watch a few clips, but not the whole game. We just, in each coach, when we get to a coaches meeting, each coach will just will have one or two or maximum maybe 3 slides in your department. And Fabian always said 1 good slide and 1 work on slide. So then you share that with the coaches, and we have a general discussion. And then we'll have a break, and that Sunday afternoon, evening, we will have and then a meeting of our plan for the week. And each area coach said, listen, this is my plan. So once we have our buy-in, so when Monday start, all the coaches on the same page, we know what our plans is, we know what we want to achieve in the week, we know the language we want to talk, we know the slides we're going to show, and then each coach just present in his department, and it's working good at the moment.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds great, yeah.
Do you want to keep going with your perfect week, or?
Yeah, so now the theory session, I think we touched on that board session.
Yeah.
And that's also, I mean, it's feedback that, because I sometimes also pick up that I will be on the Tuesday, I will give feedback on a Tuesday. So maybe I pick up something in training zone, kicking out of hand or goal kicking, then I will have that Tuesday evening, just a quick 5 minutes, just for a coffee after dinner, just have a quick a 5-minute meeting with him, just sitting and just show him 1 or 2 clips, the reason why he maybe struggled to date, or why he missed a few kicks, or why he maybe didn't get distance. So that's my theory session stuff, and a one-on-one feedback and stuff.
And then Thursday.
Yeah, so I just want to go through the slides here. So we talk about so I make sure the perfect week, the Tuesday, and I call it a structured day or marine day. So I'll make sure, Zane, you must come in here. So I make sure that whatever going to happen on a Saturday with the game, I must make sure I try and cover that in a Tuesday session, a Tuesday morning and a Tuesday afternoon. And this is a one session that where I have from the SNC coaches, I have the green light that I can push them. I can go longer. I don't have to say, listen, after 20 minutes finish, I can go for 45 minutes. I can go for 50 minutes or whatever. This is a one day in a week that I really can go long. I can put them under pressure. I can I can chase intensity. I can see how they react when they're tired, whatever. So my Tuesday is a quite important day for me, the Tuesday morning and the Tuesday evening. So I make sure once I get to a Tuesday evening, I make sure that I really cover all the basic kicking and all the stuff, distance, attacking, restarts, a few drop goals, goal kicking, try and put them under pressure with the exits and stuff. So that is, for me, it is really important to have a massive good day the Tuesday morning of next one, and on Wednesday, then I'll stay away from them. I don't even talk to them. I just give them space, because as a coach, of course we talk a lot to them. They also need to have their space as well. So on a Wednesday, I don't even talk to them or see them, whatever.
And then Thursday. And
the Thursday, I call it a structured day or fast day. And what I mean by fast day, I will just, for example, let's say work on the exits. I will put 4 different color cones or 5 different color cones in my own 22. And I will just call a color cone. They quickly have to run, reset, get the pass, kick it out. So you just try and get that game day situation, that game feeling, that match day situation where everything happened fast, where everything happened quick, and with the 9 kicking and stuff. So that is my structured day. I will do a lot of structure stuff, like exits from my own 22. I will work on my plan for the week. What we're going to do, we're going distance, we're going just contestable this weekend, or we work a lot on attacking kicks. Once we get over there 10 meters, and then we know the wings are up early. So we want to work on an attacking kick. So I will work on the stuff that is structured and that we're going to execute within our structured play as well. So that will be my Thursday. And then Friday, captain's run. Zane, you must come in. Yes.
Bob, are you doing those exits with the whole team then? Or is it just with your...
No, I just do this with the 9, 10, and 15. Okay. And what I also do is, because in the team training, that Thursday, in the team training, we have more than enough time. We built in blocks like a 4 minutes here or 6 minutes there, where you actually, in that attack with the team, you have an exit here, you have a different exit in the 22, outside the 22, you have your team thing. This is more just the main focus with my kickers. Sometimes what I'm doing is, and I see it as working, Zane, I'm getting my 3 loosies in as well, on my exits in my 22 and just also my 22, because sometimes they're the guys that must be my 2 blockers. They must be sometimes the guys that extend my ruck for my 9 to kick. And sometimes they're the guys that when you kick a box kick or a kick from a 10 or that pass to 15 knee kick, then my 3 loosies is the guys that always be the first guys out of the ruck, and maybe the first guys get the chasing line in motion with your back. So sometimes I will get my 3 loosies in as well. But mainly 80% of the time, it's just the kickers that I work with, and I just want to chase a bit of speed because I want to put them under pressure. I want to get close to a match day situation. So that's what I'm trying on that Thursday.
And then this is like just tables, I guess, of the week.
No.
Where you've got pre-post training extras, box variations.
Yes.
So that's essentially what my week looks like from a national team perspective. The top
Was this you, Cripsy?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Okay, now we're switching on to a different team. So we've had the French, what the French do. Now we're switching up to Cripsy on the national team.
Perfect.
To be professional, yeah. Jeez, man. Yeah. So when we get together, we look at they know that extra is what they're going to be doing. We give them that sort of flexibility if they can get there early to get out there and do it. The only issue we have with that is often we'll have a meeting beforehand, so it ends up post training. Yeah. So then, we call them extras, whether it's your box kicks or your line kicking or going long, or your high balls or your kickoffs or your goal kicks. Yeah, so we try and squeeze a little bit in, but often rather than going for long periods of time. And then from a club perspective, the ideal week, so the perfect week for me would be something along what you see there, and trying to have games as well. So I was fortunate enough to be the backs coach too, so I could, when I get my 20 minutes with the backs, then I could make it into a kicking game and work on our kicking, catching skills and stuff during the session. Because as a kicking coach, you're quite restricted on what the head coach wants, and you have whatever time he gives you, and often that's just after training, so or before training. So it's you got to try and find ways to optimize. But with kicking being more recognized these days now, like defense, I suppose, of how important it is, we get a little bit more leverage in getting more into it in training, if you know what I mean.
Listen. Sorry.
How many kickers are you working with in your trainings?
At the club, it's essentially anyone who wants to kick. So sometimes it'll be one guy would stay behind and do some extras, and sometimes we'd have 4. I think the most we've had was 5, and we'd have games then. So we had a little trophy where we'd have a kicking contest, whether it's goal kicking or target practice or whatever. And that trophy disappeared quite early on, though. But it's I'll help anyone who wants to be helped, sort of thing. That's the way I'm trying to look at it. What you find is some of the younger guys get a little bit nervous of coming forward when they see someone like David and he's going through his processes, and he's so good at doing it. I think some of the youngsters look at it and get a little bit intimidated, and then you get the other ones who will just jump straight in and go, "Oh, I want to do that too." Yeah, and so it's trying to find that balance between giving them the freedom to do what they want, and if they want help, then I'm there for them, type thing, instead of trying to force it on them, you know.
And given the limited time. Oh, sorry. Go, Vlok.
No. Go.
I just want to know, because obviously Vlok has X amount of time during the week, as you saw from a professional point of view. You get sort of most days. He gives them Wednesdays off, but they're kicking every other day. When you've only got 2 trainings a week, Tuesday, Thursday, if you have to rank in order, do you have a priority order that you're sort of, if you've only got 10 minutes on a Tuesday, what are you really going to focus on? Is it specifically for that weekend's game, or is it something that the player needs to work on, or is it something that you've seen?
Generally, we are still at the stage of what the player needs to work on. We will touch on it, and like you said, we can do more in training. Sort of like what Flock was saying, we kick the ball a little bit more in training these days throughout the session, so that's good. But so for me, I would look at David's really keen with his goal kicking, so we would look at his process sort of thing, and we would break it right down and just certainly leading into a game, we would keep the volume low and just try and make him comfortable in his process. He's a real deep, thoughtful kicker. So he's really intense in what he does, you know. And so he'll also go away and he practices a lot away from the environment too, which is good. And I'll get little video clips so we can do some remote coaching as well, which is it's really handy actually. It's because you don't have that time, you've got to find other ways.
Zain, I agree, Zain. I just want to add on what you were saying, Zain. I think it's difficult. I think the most difficult part for any coach is if you have like 2 training days a week, and listen, you have limited time. And I remember when I was just starting out at the Bulls, then I really have to like a thief, I have to steal time. I said to a defensive coach, just give me 5 minutes in your session, please. Or said to the backline attack coach, listen, in your backline session, just give me 5 minutes or 7 minutes, please. then and then he said, listen, in my 40-minute session, I can give you 7 minutes every day. So that was for me like an extra bonus session. Then I decided to use that 7 minutes as a backline session to work on stuff that I think they're going to do in the game and execute that. So then I can, when training is finished and I have to work on the goal kickers and the 9 box kicks, then I have my attention on them to do that. And so I learned to steal some time and back for time from a defensive coach and a backline coach, maybe to get to 5 minutes here and a 7 minutes there. But that is always a challenge for any coach if you have a limited time available. So what I pick up in experience over the years is then you just decide, listen, on 3 or 4 things to focus on, like goal kicking, maybe kicking out of hand, work on a technique, maybe work on the restarts, and maybe work on attacking kick or whatever. Then you have to really be smart and pick 3 or 4 kicks that you want to work on and focus on. If you only have a Tuesday and a Thursday to work, and maybe you have for 20 minutes and that's it. So then you have to really be smart. And I think that is a massive challenge for any coach to go forward and really make a difference.
And for you, Glenn, from a player's perspective, what did you used to focus on during the week being a kicker?
Yeah,
did you prioritize anything in particular, or was it pretty random, or how you felt on the day? Or
nah, for me it was always on Tuesday. I was working on kicking for touch, or drop kicks, restarts, those kind of things. And on Thursday it was more on kicking for goal. But I must say, the most of the time I just did it by myself without any coach, and there was no real kicking coach. So yeah, this is how my perfect week looks like as a coach now. First of all, I'm looking to the strategy of how is the defense playing, how are the wingers, how good are they in counterattack, and how strong is my attacking, how dominant is my attacking forwards. If you're really dominant, it's easier to play by hand, and if you're not dominant, maybe you need to work with a good kicking strategy. So after I decided what my strategy was, I'm talking with my players, with my goal kickers, and then it's working on a 1-against-1 technique. And just like you said, we don't have a lot of time as a non-professional club, so you got two training sessions of 90 minutes. So what I'm doing for the moment is every month I try to make a workshop from a different goal, maybe a different technique like box kick, kicking for touch, and I make a big kicking group. I make them responsible for kicking, and they need to work together with each other. And the most of the time they're doing by themselves. But like you see in the picture, I always got my iPad with me, and I'm working a lot with the Coach Eye app. Or for me is a really good thing, because players can film each other, and I can still watch it after the training session. So I don't need to be busy with the players the whole time, and I can still look at it. So that gives me more time to work on kicking as well. And after I worked on my 1-against-1 technique, I wanted to see how they deal with under pressure. Because if you work without pressure, it's a lot easier, and it's not realistic. And I'm a huge fan of that game-based training as well. So I'm working with a lot of games. I make different rules, and with every rule you can earn some points. So I'm working with those clickers, like you can see on the practice under pressure, and that's something what really works out for me as a coach. And each time they do something well, a good rubber kick, or it can be a technique or a good chase after the kick, you can get some points. And each team got his own clicker. I've got him in one hand for the one team, and one hand for the other one. And at the end, we come together, and then we look who's the winner is. And for me, that worked out very well as coach, because the players really like it. It's challenging themselves, and they really want to win. And that's an easy way to still work with kicking with practicing those skills, those kicking skills into games, and you can do it in a warming up. You can do it in every time in your training sessions. Even if you're working on defense, you can still put something on it with kicking. So in that short amount of time. And then after that, I'll work with team versus the kick, because the kick is very important, but also the chase after the kick. And I still try to get the whole team responsible for the kick. And I'm trying to do that with little games. And I think one of my games is on the next slide. Zane, can you? Yes. So this is one of the games that I use to get the whole team responsible. And you can see the blue team over here is in attack. You can start from a line out of something else, and the red team is defending. And each team got three chances to get a good exit, to get as far as possible. So they can run with, they can attack twice. So that they touch, they need to palm her up. And after the second time, they need to kick it out. Kicking for touch or kicking infield. They can choose. If red catch the ball, they can still counter-attack. And from the moment the blue team has touched them, that's the first mark. And you can see then that's this one, that's a little mark, the blue one. And then I go back to the second one and to the third one. And after that, I just change it. It's red now. It wants to go for the exit. And they will kick it, try to get as far as possible, to get a lot of pressure after the kick, get a good chase, and try to stop them. And the team that gets the best exit is then the winner. And for me, that's a game that really helps me. The players like it, and everyone is responsible for the kick. And you can have a good reflection of how your team is doing after the kick. What's the reaction of the players? So yeah, that's helping me a lot in a short amount of time.
Do you video this game so you can actually show the players visually what's happening?
Not on training, but yeah, that would be perfect if you could do that and watch it. Yeah.
Anything from you guys on games or this sort of game? Any comments, Cripsy?
No, listen, Glenn. I'm also a big believer in doing games, or as I call it, playing games exactly like this. You need to create a competition between the guys or the two teams. Competition is healthy and is good, and you create that winning spirit, that fighting spirit, that competitive edge you create within the individual and the team. So I'm a big believer in playing games. And you just break, as you say, you just break it down either with an exit or with a broken field or the restart or the hang time or whatever. I also like it, and I'm sold out to that. That's for me a good way of training that and to make sure that they work on the execution, but also to see if they can beat the other guy or beat the other team, and then you get them to concentrate and we get that focus minded up. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can get everyone involved as well in the same game. It's not just your one kicker. There's a time and place for that. But there's also game time, and exactly what Flock said. So
yeah, and it's very very realistic to the game. So
yeah.
Just on that, I have this get more to individual now. So when I'm finished training. I will take my three kickers, let's say the three goal kickers, and they will have three balls. And I said, listen, I pass the three balls to you. And I'll make it easy. Say maybe 5 meters outside the 22, right in front of the poles. Three balls. I will pass the three balls to you and drop goals. If you miss all three, you miss all three. There's not a second chance. And I will say, listen, so we will see. I'll write it down. We're starting on Monday and we finish on Thursday. And the guy and you're talking about 3, 6, 9. You're talking about 12, 15 drops. And you see, listen, the guy they have the most success rate, or the highest success rate. You will get a chocolate, or I will buy him a cappuccino, or he will get something, just something small. But it's actually working, because you create that competition between them. And if they miss three, they miss three. There's no, okay, now let's try again. So that's why I like a bit of a competition.
Yeah. Then this slide is when the left side is when I was playing, and that's my experience as a player from 2007 to 2017. And on the right side is how I deal it now as a coach to my players. So as an amateur players, I think we worked on kicking technique, I think 15, 30 minutes every 3 months, and that was not individual. So yeah, that's not a lot. That was my experience, and I think it can be different in other clubs. But yeah, then on Tuesday I worked out my restarts and kick off with touch, and Thursday I was kicking for goal. And most of the time I did it by myself. And I must say, as a non-professional player, I think at kicking strategy, I think I worked once in 10 years with a coach who was really focused with it. So yeah, that gives you an example of what I think that we still need to work more on kicking strategy and kicking in general. So that's my experience a bit. And then on the right side, I try to work 30 minutes each month, like I said, and on a workshop, one technique, one goal in the month, and a big player group that wants to kick, and make your kickers responsible. And if they're responsible for it, they will practice by themselves. And it's also better to work with each other, because you can give some feedback, you can film it, and it's just more fun. And if you only focus on your one goal kicker and he is injured, then you got a lot of problems, because you can't work with your kicking strategy then.
How did you get on percentage-wise, given your lack of practice for kicking? Were you a good goal kicker?
Is that a question? Is that a question on the?
Yeah, I want to see if it worked. This non-practice.
The problem is when you've got nobody that gives you some advice. You try to work. Yeah, the things that work out for you, you're still doing it over and over and over again. And if you really want to be successful and maybe try to have kicking for goal for a longer distance, then you need to work on your technique, and you need someone to help you. So yeah, I was sometimes I was a good goal kicker, but I still got a lot of things to work on, I guess.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the mental aspects.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So when we talk about the mental aspects, I always this I always take it back to the beginning. So this is just my philosophy, and I'd say that's the only way it's working, but that's just working for me. So what I was doing, if I can take back into France again, so on my first day arriving at the camp with the squad, I've like a question form where they ask them a lot of questions, and I want them to give me honest feedback. I said, listen, just think about it for a day or two, and after 2 days, just come back and just give your form back to me, and I will ask questions in that thing of how do they see pressure, how do they define pressure, do they like pressure, do they don't like pressure, how do they see a training week. Do they want to put a lot of time into video work? Do they like to spend more time on the training field and the training pitch? Do they want to have an off day? Do they like one-on-ones? All those type of questions I ask them and I must say I really get some good feedback. So for me as a coach, I want to make sure with what type of person that I'm working with. And this is coming from stuff that I think the Navy SEALs are doing. So once they decide the guy who is getting his final exams and he became a Marine, then they know what type of person that they're working with to send him out there into the world. So I want to make sure with what type of player I'm working. Do I work with a player that like to put some long hours in, who have a good work ethic, and I said to him, listen, this is between you and me. I'm not going to discuss it with the coaches, but I want their honest feedback. So do you like pressure? Do you don't like pressure? So, and then I put this down to those things of pressure. If it's your enemy, you have problems. If pressure is your enemy, then just get a new job for you. Just try and do something else, because you're not going to make it in this game. So that's why I was make sure that they see pressure as just part of the game. It is there. You can't walk around that. You can't talk it away. You can't wish it away. You need to cope with pressure. And obviously there's a reason why there's a 9, 10 and a 15 on your back. And that comes with pressure, that jersey. So you need to quickly make sure that pressure is part of your DNA and your friend. And the reset button, I get that from the golf. I was watching a golf tournament where Justin Johnson was playing, and he missed like a very short, easy putt. He missed. So the next moment, he just like a real hard tap at the side of his leg. He just like hit himself, like he tapped himself. And he said that is his reset button after failure, after a bad shot, or after a bad mistake or whatever. He just hit himself, just a reset button, a reminder that, listen, forget about that. Put it behind you. Just focus on the next shot. So I just said to my kickers, listen, if you have a touchdown or a bad kick didn't go out, or an easy miss kick or whatever bad kick you have, find your own reset button. Just do whatever you need to do, but within that 5 seconds, you need to be back on par. You need to refocus again on what your job ahead is, because you still need to make decisions. You still play in the game. There's a lot of stuff. You still make a pass. You still need to make a tackle or whatever. So just give you 5 seconds, but get yourself a reset button and to get back into the game. And that's why I learned to give them honest feedback and not walking around the bush, but just give players honest feedback and say, listen, that was not a good session today. I'm not happy with your session today. I'm not happy with your attitude today. I could see that you slacked down. Your concentration levels wasn't good. So I'm just telling you, I'm not happy. And I leave it there. So that's what I was learning with this now.
Good.
Yeah, this is slide for me. So I think it's the same like Flo was saying. You need to have a strong connection between your goal kicker or your kicker in general. I think you really need to know how he's thinking, how much stress does he have, and I think you need to transfer some belief to your player. So, and that's very important for me as a kicker as well. When I felt that my coach had a lot of confidence in me, everything was much easier, and I also felt that confidence. And I think that's for me, it's the key thing as a goal kicker. You need to have the confidence, because otherwise it's going to be a difficult game for you. And those 3 things make it a lot easier when you got the confidence. And that's first is, what if you miss a kick? You need to immediately have the reflection of why did it went wrong as quick as possible, because you also need to have, like Flock saying, you also need to have your normal game where you with other aspects you need to work on. So it's a quick reflection what went wrong. So the next time you're taking that kick, you perfectly know what you can do better, and hopefully then the result will be there. And it's also you need to think in the game and the kick. It's a different thing. You need to think in boxes. You got your kick. If you miss, you need to think about it, and then you put it back in the box. Next time you do the kick, you try to change it what you did wrong, and then hopefully you have a good kick. And the same for the game. But I must say it's very difficult for me as a player. It was very difficult. Most of the time when I had a good line break or a good tackle, that was for me. That helps me to have a better kicking game, and the same in the other direction. And then when you have good confidence, most of the time you also have good visualization. Yeah, there was a lot of the times that I just put my ball in the tee and I already knew that it went through the posts. and that's for me. That was all about confidence and the strong connection between my coach and me as a player.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with visualization, Flock? Because that's for me that sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes you have it, and sometimes it's just so difficult to have a good visualization.
Yeah, and I think that's a difficult part, because I think visualization. How do you coach that? I mean, you can talk about it, and you can put down a few points on paper, but I don't think that is there's a way that you can train it. But talking on visualization, I was watching one day. I watched a clip of Johnny Sexton. He was playing, I think, don't know who Ireland was playing that Saturday, and I saw the clip that we actually put the ball down for goal kicking. Now he put the ball down, and he's taking his time, and he was standing right on the 22, right in front of the goal, but he's putting the ball down the tee, and he's going through his routine, and he's walking back, and he's standing and looking at the ball, the post, everything, and as he just before he kicked. Then he stopped, and he take the ball off, and then he put the ball in the tee again, and he start all over again. And the aim for that drill was, I think, visualization. He was just working for 20, 30 minutes. He was just working on his routine of putting the ball down, working on his step back, make sure he's standing on the same spot every time, going through his routine. And he's not even kicking the ball, and then he start all over again. So I think that is one way of doing a visualization. And once I saw that clip, it just opened my mind to a lot of things, how I can incorporate a lot of things to work with your kickers to do that. So I think that's one way of trying that.
Yeah, I think for me it's self-talk as well. So even if you're away from the field, you can be going through your process exactly the same what Vlok was just saying about the Sexton, but in a neutral place where you're not there with the ball and tee, and you can sort of self-talk your way through each of the processes. So how do you set the ball up? Where's the wind coming from? Are we playing coming from Wales? You'd play on a field that was as if you had to surf down the field sometimes. So where's the slopes in the fields, and where's your angle? Would there be a random sheep coming across the field or something like
that? that's only Wales, I guess.
But I think self-talk through your process of what you're going to be can build in that confidence in what so that really helped me with visualization.
Yeah.
And that goes for the rest of the game, not just from a goal kicking.
Right, let's move on to the review, time for review and preview.
Yes, I think in the beginning I touched on the review and the preview. So when you do on the Monday, so I think we touched on that. I just want to go to the next slide where I just said listen, I call it the SRG. Stress, recovery, and growth. And the stress, that would be my way. I put him under pressure on the field. I put him under pressure in the meeting room. I ask him the why questions. And that's a good thing for me. Let the body and mind work harder to perform together under pressure. And that also push for intensity. So that's a stress. I want to put him under stress. I want to see how they do on the try and get close to a match day. So that's the stuff that I will focus in a week. That, and also then the recovery, just for me to let them take care of their mind and body, allow them to rest and recover and be mentally fresh and strong, get away from my voice, get away from my face, and just give them their space to do whatever they want to do. And then also in that week, then the important thing for me is the growth. In that week, they must develop. Leading up to the game, they must have game mind focus. As you just said now, both of you, create game related pressure, games, all that stuff. So me, that's the 3 words that I come up with. Said, listen, stress. What do I want to achieve under that for the week? Recovery. How important is that for me? And then growth. What do I want to get out of the week, growth-wise, for them leading up to the game?
Well, it's good. We've come to the end. Any sort of last points from you guys about kicking? Final tips?
For me, I think it's just the importance of it. It's gaining momentum in this country with regards to having a balance between your attack, defense, kicking, and your set piece, and putting that work in, whether you're coachless or not, getting out there and going through your processes.
There was a stat in a Super Rugby in a Super Rugby last year, in the World Cup last year, and even the Six Nations now, that if you kick more than opponents, if you make more tackles than the opponents, and here's a dangerous one now, if you have less ball than your opponents, your chance of winning that game is good, very good. You give yourself a good chance. If I say less ball, I mean you need to have the right ball in the right area to attack. And I pick it up with us now in the World Cup. I was watching that, especially in the semi-final and quarterfinals, that teams that kick more than the other team, teams that obviously then you will tackle more than the other team, and then you have less ball because you kick more, but you have the right ball in the right area. Your chance of winning that game is if you give yourself a better chance in winning that games, and that is massive important for me. And I must say that is a massive big focus point for us as a French team. And it's the first time ever that we as a French team this year in the Six Nations kick more than England, and we kick more than Wales. So for the French team, that is a hell of achievement to kick more than opponents. So yeah.
Sorry, Glenn.
No, yeah, I'm fine with that. Everything's
time, is it? Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. One concern for me as a forwards coach watching that penalty kickoff is that we're now going to have all the bloody forwards kicking for post after a session. So I'm a bit worried about that rather than doing lineouts. But and thank you very much. Before we wrap up, to everybody out there, our licensing system out there, if you want to get access to the 10 series webinars that we've been running, to the PowerPoints that we've been showing you guys and the info on that, please send an email to Joanne at licencia@rugby.nl. You get access to the Coach Now platform, and if you need a bit more info, you can go to rugby.nl to the opleiding tab, and you can find everything there. That, Zane, I think wraps up a 10 week or 10 evening series for us. Am I right?
It does. Yeah, it does. It was good.
Yeah, great. To Zane, behind the scenes organizing the coaches coming on, to Taman putting the ball in the role for this, to all the coaches that's been on, and our guest coaches like Flook, Glenn, and then Cripsy, you've been on a few. You've become quite a bit of a celebrity in the Netherlands. Thank you to everybody. If there is anybody out there that would like to get a bit more, or if you think you have or you want to know a bit more about something, please get in touch with us. We're going to take a break from our Tuesday and Thursday nights as training is getting up and running again in the Netherlands from Monday, with restrictions being that said. But if there's something else, we're looking at a format of how we can make this maybe a monthly thing where we pick a topic and we run it on an evening where there's no rugby. So please get in touch if you've got something, and we would like to get some guest coaches involved. To the three gentlemen tonight, thank you very much. Flook, good luck there in South Africa with, hopefully you guys get down to level 3 so you can exercise outside 6 in the morning.
That will be brilliant. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the chat. I really appreciate it.
Guys.
And to the other guys, Zane, thank you for facilitating. Everybody, thank you very much.